So I went and I went to Liverpool, but this time coming back round was like everything was another level again. Professionalism, discipline, all fitted into how I need to live my life as a footballer, and I just fitted straight in. The group of boys, and just I never come across such a group of boys who want to work hard and want to do so much for their mates and the team around them, and the manager and his staff as well. It's just it's a group coming together. It's the biggest, it's the best group I've ever been involved with in football. Yeah, definitely. And it's a real close-knit club, and that's why we are where we are in the league. It's not because we're the most talented team in the world. It's because if someone's out of position, another guy will come and cover for them. And that for me is really not just exciting me, but it's refreshing, but also I've really grasped it and enjoyed every second of that. My discipline in myself has really got to me. It's got where I am. There's players with more ability than me, definitely, but my discipline, my attitude to training and professionalism is really what's carried me to where I am now, definitely. And I try and emphasise that with young players as much as I can. That look, your attitude has to be so good, because you compete. I don't think a lot of them realise now who they're up against. You're not up against the best kids in the UK anymore. You're up against the best kids in the world for a position, and some of them I don't feel understand that. And little things like if you're going to sprint to a comb, sprint to the comb. Don't jog to it, or even if you're going to do 5 minutes on a bike, you do 5 minutes, 5.5 if you've got to. You don't do 4.55. And it's just those tiny little margins really make up to where you can go in your career. I don't know what they're doing in some academies that I've seen. I just, you've got some boys come in, not even bothered if they impress, not even bothered if, they're not. You got a young 18-year-old kid driving a Mercedes into the club. I could never. I didn't start driving until I was 22. Do I agree with the stuff I had to do? Probably not to that extent, because when I was in academy, I was not just cleaning boots. I had to make my man tea, coffee, clean his car.
Who was yours? Who was it?
A guy called John Poston, who was a pain in the ass. He was a pain. He wasn't nice to work for, to be honest. But then we had to do the changing rooms, our changing rooms, their changing rooms, managers' changing rooms, make sure the balls, bibs. You imagine it was all done. We were there to and we didn't leave till late, and it taught me discipline. I believed everyone had to have the same motivation, same drive as me. If they didn't, but that's completely unrealistic. We're all very different. We all have our own motivations, and for me, as to get into management, would want to try and pick all, trying to find every little. If I sign a player, I want to know. I would have clocked this player for a good year and a half. I would have watched him train secretly before I go and sign him. I know his mentality, I know his wife's name, I know his kids, I know everything about the boy before I bring him in. Like I go back to Mourinho because I spoke to Patrick Vieira and I was like, who's the best manager you've worked with? And I straight away expected Wenger, and of course, because he had such. And he said Mourinho. He said I weren't even playing. I wasn't playing, and he called me in out of the blue, said, look, 2 weeks I'm going to play you against Catania. I was never happy. So there's always that inner anger inside you as well. Even good games, even games I had, I thought which I was outstanding in, I looked at the bad points. There was every game. Every single game, there was no such thing as a perfect game for me. I used to beat myself up over the stuff that I didn't do. Which is just nuts. They're not rituals, they're not superstitions, and where before I was just murder for them. I'd leave the same. If I won a game, I'd leave the same time, wear the same suit. But if the traffic light went at the same, I knew what traffic light it was, and if it went red, then I'm like, oh shit! When it was green last week.
On the way to a game.
Yeah, that type of just nuts. We got one shot at this career. One shot, and it's you could have such a life from this game.